But where you see light, I see worlds and the countless stories that fill them. But in a multiverse of infinite possibility, is your destiny determined by your nature? Or by the nature of your world?
All right, tonight we're going to talk about number 2, the second episode of Marvel's What If. Did this one have a title?
Hold on, let me
I
look.
should have known that before I looked at it. You know what? And as you're looking that up, I'm going to start since I normally don't. So I'm going to back up. When this all started, when they were telling things that were coming out and they were talking about doing TV shows, What If was the one that I think I was the most excited about. Probably. It was certainly one of the most. So I've got really high expectations for it. So this second episode, I will say that I still don't like it that much. I mean, I don't. So I'll back up. So the thing I didn't like about the first one was I didn't think there was much of a story. It just kind of felt like, hey, we'll change up the character. We'll change people and put them in different places. To me, that's not a new story. I mean, there was a little bit of a different, but not enough. This one did not. It kind of did that, but it did a better job. It actually had it had a little bit of a better outline of a story. But having said that, it still didn't seem that deep. And the thing you had talked about this, Sarah, I think it totally did it. And it kind of it didn't ruin this episode for me, but it kept me from really liking this episode. Is you were talking about, hey, what if they go too far with a character and where it gets sort of unbelievable? And that totally happened for me with Thanos. He comes in and he's like, hey, I'm a new man. I'm just like, what?
Yeah, but like they accepted all of the genocide he did before because he killed all of their families in order to get his daughters, right? And so they're like, cool, that just might be genocide. Wah wah. It's funny. It's not.
And then when you do that with the other thing, I had a bit of an issue is, hey, he comes and gets him, kidnaps him, and he's like, that's okay. You kept me away from my family until I was in my.
And you told me they died.
Yeah, and then you lied to me, but it's okay.
It's cool.
I got their back. That was the other thing. I really had a problem swallowing that. The Collector being a badass.
That was kind of fun.
I can kind of buy that because, I mean, you have to back up some of these. If Thanos becomes Mr. Happy and Mr. Reformed guy, you got to back that up with something.
Yeah.
Just too big of a swing.
And nobody's mad about all the genocide that happened previous to him turning over a new leaf.
Well,
and now he's cool with everybody.
I don't think they did it. I think he was going to, and then he stopped it.
Well, then how were they his daughters?
I mean, he had been doing some, but he never. I don't think the way I understood it was he didn't do it on Earth. He had done it on others.
We never saw. Was Gamora in it? I don't remember.
I didn't.
Okay, so if Gamora wasn't one of his daughters, then he didn't decimate her planet, and I don't even remember how. What's her name?
Nebula.
We don't know what Nebula's origin is. He may have just picked her up. She may have been a street kid or something like that. We don't know that.
Crack about that. They did.
We don't know that he destroyed an entire planet and took her on. So if he doesn't have Gamora, that means he didn't destroy the Gamora. And also, if the Black Watch worked for the Collector, then Thanos changed his mind very early in the grand scheme of things. So
I did like the way they were drawn. I mean, I like the animation.
That was fun.
Cool.
I agree with you overall. I thought it was entertaining, but I thought that it was way too positive, and even for a comic book was kind of crazy unrealistic. like people were acting completely out of character.
Yeah. Well,
But I did love that Star-Lord, the real Peter Quill, was a janitor to Dairy Queen, because in reality, that's all he would end up being, because he's a crap human being who, by the way, caused all the genocide. You want to blame Thanos? Thanos snapped his finger, but all freaking Peter Quill had to do was not hit him in the face, and they would have defeated him before any of that even happened. And I'm standing by that from now on. His fault, all his fault.
You said that before. Well, we know where
Right.
Chip stands. Sarah, what about you?
So I enjoyed it. It was cute to watch. It wasn't like, I don't think I think we're having too high expectations for these. I think that they're just supposed to be cute things, like you see the little Mickey Mouse shorts. I think that's what it's supposed to be. I don't think we're supposed to lean into the depth of them, because they really don't have a lot of depth.
Wait a minute. So we can lean into the depth of Loki to the point that's just absurd, but we shouldn't be critical of the What If cartoon.
I'm not saying that we shouldn't be critical. I'm just saying that they're not meant to be a deep story and plot line like the Loki series, because literally that was a series and you had a bunch of episodes to build everything.
Fair enough. These are kind of one-off throwaways, but they're not Mickey Mouse shorts. I don't want them put in the same world as that.
I kind of feel like there, but okay. So there's things that I didn't like. I'm not like, I also am not super enjoying these. Like, it's cute to watch, but am I going to watch them again? I'm not.
Yeah,
So
kind of how I feel.
what I don't like about, first off, I love T'Challa. I love the character. I love Black Panther and stuff, but he was overall just too forgiving and accepting of everything. And he was so positive and wonderful. And if you look at like the whole world that he was in, they were evil. Like, they were basically bad people, like sky pirates, right? So he goes in as a child with all these sky pirates, the Ravengers, and he comes out like squeaky and has squeakified everybody.
Well, he
I don't believe that.
He made them better people.
Yeah, which
They
is
all became better people because of him.
Yeah.
I don't
positive
believe
influence.
everybody's just squeak. I don't buy it.
How exactly did you stop Thanos, the Mad Titan, from decimating half of the universe?
Oh, no, I'm a big enough man to admit when I'm wrong. T'Challa here showed me there was more than one way to reallocate the universe's resources.
Sometimes the best weapon in your arsenal is just a good argument.
Aye, aye, Commander. Although I still assert my plan was not without its merits.
I think it's a cute little idea, but it's not a buyable story on my behalf, though.
When you have all those people, you and so, which is kind of cool, but it got kind of cluttered for a 30-minute show. It was almost like, man, if you would have I just felt like if you'd pull back, tell a story, just tell me a story.
Yeah.
Just a little one. It doesn't have to be crazy.
And the story, the whole Ocean's 11 type scam that was going on, I was just like, that's too much. That's too much.
And you thought he was bad. You thought he didn't know what he was doing. No, he knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
He knew all along.
Of course he did.
Yeah,
of course he did.
I just, like I said, I liked at least there was more going on, kind of like we talked about last time. There wasn't as much going on, but the last one was much more, at least, believable. This was sort of completely.
Well, yeah, the first one, like I said about the first one, and I mean, you have a good point of it wasn't much of a story, but all it was okay. So instead of Steve Rogers, it's Agent Carter, and all we're going to do is hit the high points that was in the Captain America movie to do this. So that's all they did, was they just retold it, and because everybody's seen that movie 100 times.
This little like it was, like you said, it was the highlights. It wasn't so much of retelling anything. They're just like, we're just going to switch them, and then.
And then this one was a little bit more of a complete story, and it was it was
more of a story.
There was just stuff about it that annoyed me.
Yeah, I enjoyed.
So I really did like the part where Nebula tells Thanos that he's crazy or something like that, and he goes, "No, mad or something like that. I was like, that was kind of cool.
It certainly had its moments.
Yeah.
It was funny and it was
and
cute.
the whole Yondu is dad thing is really sweet because they really played on that, in the second Guardians movie.
But what I don't get is they realize they picked up the wrong kids. So they're just going to keep them.
Yeah.
Well, that was the whole thing.
And not go get the right kid because
exactly. Right.
Because Ego's not going to be mad at them for not getting the kid. Like, what is this?
Well, the thing and the explanation I heard from that, and the same thing they kind of mentioned it in Guardians 2, was that Yondu was tired, was tired and was regretting getting these kids for Ego. Mm-hmm. And when he picked up Quill, he was like, I can't, like, he couldn't take him to Ego because he knew what was going to happen. So and he felt the same way about T'Challa.
So obviously. I thought he picked up Quill with the original intent to turn him over to Ego, and then figured out en route or whatever that he was doing that to them. So that was my understanding, because if he knew before he picked up Quill, why would he even pick up Quill? Like, that doesn't make sense. So they knowingly went down, picked up T'Challa, realized he wasn't it, and then they had like a 2-second heartwarming, oh no, I love you, that kind of thing. And
he was just so positive. His positivity just rubbed off on them immediately and changed their souls. So
melted all of their icy hearts.
Yeah, melted their icy hearts, exactly.
Like an episode of The Grinch. No, I don't buy it.
His heart beat. It grew.
3 sizes that day.
That's kind of how I felt about it as well. I mean, and the problem is, at this point, to speak about all of them, I think the Netflix ones, they blow away the ones we've seen on Disney Plus.
So far, yeah.
Obviously the first Daredevil's fantastic, the first season, and the prior seasons after that were really good.
All 3 seasons of 3 seasons, right? Yeah, all 3 seasons of Daredevil were great. I thought both of the seasons of Jessica Jones were.
I love Jessica Jones. I love that show.
Episode or two too long. They could have pulled out an episode. They were overall they were fantastic.
They were great.
The first
she did great.
of Luke Cage was really good.
I did like Luke Cage as well. Yeah.
The second one was just too long. It was good, but it was literally like 3
I didn't watch
episodes
the second
one.
The
second season of Iron Fist was a lot better than the first season of Iron Fist. But the thing that made me really mad about that is it ended previewing all the stories I loved about Iron Fist, and then said, "Oh no, we're not going to make any more." And then the Punisher, both of the Punishers were great. But the only thing about the Punishers is like somebody made a comment on Twitter about him when I was watching the second one, and they're like, how is it the Punisher has twice as much blood as any other human? Because he would have bled out halfway through every one of these episodes.
Yeah.
And he takes more abuse. I mean, like, it's just impossible that he
gets more punished than he is the Punisher.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes he gets more punished than he punishes.
Mm-hmm.
And to the point, at that point, except for Iron Fist, they did a great job, I think, of picking people.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. By the second season, I was like, okay, I'm kind of in on. I felt better about him as even towards the end of the second season with him as Iron Fist. But the rest of them, man, Charlie Cox.
The first season of Iron Fist was horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, the first season of Iron Fist was hard to finish.
Yeah, it was. The second one was a lot better. And then the way they handled him in Defenders. But this makes me
keep forgetting about Defenders was good. I mean,
was it 6 episodes or 7?
No, Defenders was 9, which is what they should be. 9 episodes. Everything else was like 12 and 13, and that's 3 or 4 episodes too long. They need to condense it a little bit more. But see, that's the opposite. That's the opposite of what we're getting with the Marvel, the Disney Plus movies. But that's because of COVID. Like, so once we get out of this and we see a full season as it was supposed to be with all the subplots and everything they planned, and they didn't have to take anything out because a movie didn't get released or because they couldn't get somebody for a reshoot, then that'll be a true series to judge.
Well,
Because what we got now, I don't think we can fairly judge.
That's kind of what we're getting here because of how long this has been in planned.
Yeah. These are kind of the leftovers. This was
Yeah, because
what ifs are super easy to make. Animation super easy to make because everybody makes it at home, and voice actors do all their stuff in their home studios. So you can keep making animated stuff for as long as you want with a lockdown because everybody can do it from home, except for some of the animation rendering. But all of the voices and everything, that's all done.
Well, they had this before he passed away.
This was one of the last things Chadwick Boseman did before he passed away, which you gotta, that's just that. Sad. I remember when I got that, I saw that that news come across my phone. I was just like totally unbelieving of that because I never even knew he was sick.
He was sick. They purposely kept it under.
Yeah.
He didn't even tell.
No, he didn't. He didn't tell people because Ryan Coogler even said, he goes, I was talking to him about stuff coming up for Black Panther 3. I didn't know. Like, he didn't tell people. And I mean, and it was just, he was so young and so talented and so perfect for that role and so amazing in all the other things that he had done, not just Black Panther. It was just super sad,
Yeah, but if you think about it, they wouldn't have hired him
out there making shit, and then he gets to live, but then we lose Chadwick Boseman. The world is just
Zorbo.
You are not wishing ill upon any person.
I wish ill upon Kevin Sorbo. That's not a problem at all.
That is very random.
I was just trying to think of somebody who was crappy.
I mean,
a crappy person and a crappy actor, and he's the one that popped in my head.
There you go. Did you guys watch The Umbrella Academy?
I watched the first few. That's one I keep meaning to go back and finish it.
I like it. I loved it.
Good. I never read the comic, which obviously I made a mistake. I never read the comic because they said, "Oh, it's done by some guy from a emo band," and I was like, "Yeah, I'm not reading that." But it seemed like the first few episodes, it was pretty good. So
I really enjoyed it.
Is that Dark Horse? Who was what?
No, it's a DC
one of the awesome
imprint.
Yeah.
No, I meant to watch that and never had. That's actually on my short list. That and catching up with The Expanse.
And rewatching all of Hercules with Kevin Sorbo.
I've already done that a couple times. I usually do that once every year.
I mean, I try to watch Cole the Conqueror at least once a week.
As you should.
I believe it.
Yeah. Or Andromeda. Remember, he was in Andromeda, which was fantastic.
Oh, wow.
Such a well acted.
Was that the other Gene Roddenberry thing? What was the Gene Roddenberry offshoot? That was.
Oh yeah, what was that? Hold on.
Right around the same time, and that was real. That was that.
So we've digressed enough to say this episode's over. So.
Packs quite a wallop, does it not? I hacked it off the carcass of a terribly chatty crone. Of course, if that's not your style, there's plenty more we can play with. Observe.
People just were like, nobody went and watched it. Like, there was this whole thing. I remember.
Galactica.
Yeah, they had Blood and Chrome, which, by the way, I bought on DVD, Blu-ray, and it's still wrapped in the plastic. And I mean, I've had it for years. I just never bothered to unwrap it.
I think this could be the week to crack that open.
There you go. That's something I never got into, Blu-rays. I don't have a single Blu-ray.